it's hard to get guests. It's hard to be consistent. Most people quit really quickly because it's hard to get guests and be hard on your time, right? And so if you go in there and you just sit around there and watch everybody else do posts within the Facebook group, you're not really going to get much out of it. You really need to interact. You need to get on the phone with people. You need to get on Zooms with people, take advantage of people within the group. We put it out every once in a while saying, anyone want to come on the podcast? That's a big thing. So it's all about networking. And, if you are looking to learn, you're looking to grow, and you're self-disciplined, that's where you want to get in there.
Welcome to the LandLife podcast with your host, PJ Reilly.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to LandLife podcast. My name is PJ Reilly. Guys, if you're getting value from this podcast, if you're learning a lot, even if you just want to say hi, leave a comment, leave a review for the podcast. Just write a one sentence, maybe a 2-sentence line. Hey, I think this podcast is great. His guests like Ben Delgrosso are just, they're the highest level guests you can get. This is great. But put something in there, anything. It really helps out a lot. And guys, like I always say, if what the guest today says resonates with you, at the very end of the podcast, he's going to let you know how you can get hold of him. So make sure you stick around to the very end, catch his information, and hit up Ben with any questions you have. He's got all kinds of crazy knowledge, and he's a super smart and incredibly giving human being. Ben, so let's go do a quick background real quick, because Ben is the reason I got started in podcasting. About almost exactly a year to the day, I told Ben, I'm like, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. And Ben's like, yeah, you should. And I was like, okay. I was like, so I guess I'll get started on that. And he goes, yeah, I'll be ready in 30 minutes. And I was like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, I'll be ready in 30 minutes. And I was like to do what? He goes, I'll be your first guest. And I was like, holy shit. So I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a good camera. I didn't have any idea how to ask questions or do any of that stuff. But dude's like, no, just get started. Let's go. And so here we are. I think I think we're over 70 episodes now. And yeah, thanks to Ben, I definitely got started. So how's it going, Ben?
Doing great, and watching you grow, and you're over 70 episodes now, and it's awesome, because it's a hard thing as a podcast. I know, because I've been doing podcasting for 13 and a half months or whatever now. Yeah. And it's hard to get guests. It's hard to be consistent. Most people quit really quickly because it's hard to get guests and be hard on your time, right? And to make it a year is a great accomplishment, and I feel good about that for myself. And that's awesome for you as well, that you've managed to break that year mark, right? And if you guys haven't listen to episode 69, the science of internet marketing. That was one of your recent episodes, and I gotta say that was an amazing episode, and I hope to have that guy on my podcast soon as well. So
Daryl, that guy is
great,
super smart guy, man.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome. That guy's got to join Arete. He's got to join our network.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so Wicked. Ben and I are both in Arete. I'm wearing a new Arete hat. I'm not sure if I like the form, the fit of it, but it's a new Arete hat. Arete is basically like a what would you call Arete? How would you describe it? Like a social club for people that want to achieve higher?
It's a it's a networking group that you get what you give. So if you go in there and you just sit around there and watch everybody else do posts within the Facebook group, you're not really going to get much out of it.
Yeah.
You really need to interact. You need to get on the phone with people. You need to get on Zooms with people. I know PJ and I, we both take advantage of people within the group. We put it out every once in a while saying, anyone want to come on the podcast? And that's what's a good thing about having a podcast is you can get these people on the video with you. And a lot of times you're having an off camera conversation, 15 to 30 minutes to get to know what they do. You might find out you can help each other. And that's a big thing. So it's all about networking. And like in the group, I like putting on a couple free trainings a month, just some basic things like YouTube for beginners, how to start a podcast, because I learned from somebody within Arete how to start a podcast. And then I showed PJ how to start a podcast. I've shown a lot of other people how to start a podcast. And it's just that way of giving back to people within the community. So,
Yeah.
if you are looking to learn, you're looking to grow, and you're self-disciplined, that's where you want to get in there, because it's not like you go in there, people aren't going to hold your hand, right? This is for people who want to be entrepreneurs that want to put in the work, right? That 100%, right? Am I right or wrong on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's the highest level people too. You're not, when you jump into here, when you go to like YouTube and you search something like Ben said, how to start a podcast, a lot of times you're getting some people that maybe don't necessarily know what they're talking about. When you're in Arete, if you ask a question, you are going to get a very high level response. And the person, it's crazy because these people are like the best at what they do, whether it's like real estate, business, podcasting, really anything. But they will spend time telling you or helping you out. I mean, I've had so many like in-depth conversations with people that are 8, 9-figure guys. And you're like, dude, why are you talking to me? It's because they actually care. They actually give a shit about people in the group. So if you're part of that group, and we're not selling it, although you can enroll right now, open enrollment is starting. If you are interested, Ben and I don't make a penny off of this. It's just a cool group that we happen to be a part of. But no, it's super high level answers to any question you would have from the people doing it, not from somebody that's maybe talking in theory, or some YouTuber that just doesn't really maybe know what they're talking about.
Yeah. And if you're going into this group, like if you join a group like this, or any networking group, if you're just going to go in there and just consistently pitch people kind of catch on, and they just mute you. They don't bother really listening to you anymore, because all you're trying to do is sell them on something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've helped people out. I helped a guy out within the group who has 8 storefronts. 8 storefronts. I don't even have a storefront. He has 8 storefronts and didn't know how to do search engine optimization. Didn't understand what it was. Didn't get it. And I did like a free audit. I don't even have a business doing search engine optimization, but I had to teach myself when I started my business. And I helped this guy out. And he's like, thanks. This is exactly what I needed. Like, I didn't realize I could optimize my YouTube videos to actually rank. I didn't realize I could put like a thumbnail to maybe get more attention when people are scrolling through the internet. I didn't realize that I could actually put that it's located in Idaho or whatever it is. This business is located, right? I didn't realize I could do all that. And I didn't realize that my website didn't actually have any content. And it's funny how many people have these beautiful websites, which is what I got when I started my company. I had this beautiful website. It looked beautiful to me. I thought it was amazing. All these colors, no content, right? And so many people don't understand what content is. And I had to teach myself what content was. So it's interesting, like even recently in Arete, somebody on one of the calls asked me like, hey, can you look at my website? And we weren't even doing like a website call. It was actually something completely different. And I had to educate this person who just spent a whole pile of money on a new website about, you have no content. And he's just like, what's content? I'm like, you have no blogs. You have no pages that are even optimized to say that you are located where you are. You have no keywords tagged for your website. And I'm just explaining it all to him. And the whole time he's going, so that's why no one can find my website when they're looking up what I do. I didn't understand any of that. Right. And this is the thing, that like in the community, there's people who are willing to give and willing to share that information so that you can grow. And I mean, I got to a stage where when I first joined the group, I was learning a lot of stuff very quickly. And because I'm a person who takes action, I think I added like 10 things in very quick.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not getting much out of it anymore. Should I be in here? And I had that like thought, but then I had to realize that I've gotten past that 10 things every single month phase to now I'm looking for that one little diamond in the rough that someone's going to say that's going to bring me to that next level. Because that's really what the people who are entrepreneurs that are looking to get to that next level, you get to a point where you can't apply the stuff that are being talked about all the time because it's not applicable to you because maybe you've already done it. But now you're looking for that diamond in the rough, right? That little thing going, I wonder if I did that. I wonder if it would take my business to the next level. We should try that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And those
And
high level thinkers in there are helping. They are able to help provide that too. Like they can look on the outside of your business while you're looking on the outside of theirs. They can see things that maybe you missed, those little diamonds, those little nuggets that you didn't get. And they're able to provide that for you too. So it's nice to be around other people that are always just thinking constantly, kind of like you are.
yeah, that's the big thing. And one of the things they teach us in there is R&D, which we were talking about off
Yeah.
camera, which is rip off and duplicate. So, you know what? Not everybody thinks this way, but I've thought about it my whole life. And what happened was I was listening to one Andy Frisella's podcast in about October 2021. And I remember I was doing 75 hard at the time. And I remember I heard him talk about this R&D method. And I was like, fuck, this is exactly who I am. I'm that guy. I've always been that guy where I go look at what all my competitors are doing. What are they up to? What are they doing? What do I like? And then what I do is I duplicate it. So, like, for instance, there were things I did on my website that was the same as my competitors. And then within the next 90 days, I found ways to make it better or make it a different experience than what my competitors were offering.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing I did with my YouTube videos. I found what they were doing. I did it. Then I didn't like it because I wanted it to be unique to me. I put my own spin on it, right? It's like your own signature that you're putting on what you're doing. But the thing is, you got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why I like rip off and duplicate,
Yeah. No, I love that idea too.
So,
you don't have to come up with the idea. You don't have to be the inventor of everything to be successful. And I think that's where a lot of people maybe falter because they're like, well, I'm not an inventor. I can't come up with a brand new idea. I can't make Tesla. You know what I mean? I can't make any of these other big companies, so I'm never going to make it. No. Find something that's already working and just make it better. Brand it, market it, be the face of it. Be something, make it better than it was before. You don't have to invent everything. I mean, dude, I buy and sell dirt. You know what I mean? I didn't invent buying and selling dirt, right? But I saw something. I saw where I could maybe put a spin on things, maybe make it a little bit better. And here we are. You're kind of the same way though, too, right?
that's the whole thing. I mean, when I started my business, I was actually unemployed. And what happened was I was doing these free trainings. And what happened in these free trainings is I was telling people that, hey, COVID's happening right now. You should probably either go pick up customers' vehicles mobile and bring it back to the shop. And so the person can stay home because a lot of people wanted to stay home. They felt uncomfortable going out, but they still wanted to get work done on their vehicles.
Yeah.
Or you should just go do it straight mobile because you're not allowed to have people in the stores right now. So you should. And I'm telling people all this. And I had a few people give me the whole, well, if you think it works, why don't you just go do it yourself? Because I don't think it'll ever work. And then it's like, yeah, why the hell am I giving this free advice? They don't want to listen to me anyways. So then what did I do? I built it.
Yeah.
So, which is funny because actually, I can't remember if Andy was talking about it in one of our trainings or if it was on one of his podcasts, but I remember him saying he was talking about his idea for First Form and building a supplement company.
Yeah.
And he was having a meeting with another company, pitching it to them, talking about how they should do it. And they said, if you think it's such a great idea, why don't you do it yourself? And he took it as like kind of offense at first.
Yeah.
But then he's like, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because First Form wouldn't have existed if I just let them do it. Right. So, that's the way I kind of look at it is, well, okay, well, fine. If you don't think it's a good idea, I'm going to go build it because I think it's a great idea. And now I'm going to be expanding into a new market soon, hopefully. I mean, I'm in the process of finalizing that and bringing on a business partner. And that'll be very exciting. I mean, that's all part of the growth. That's all part of proving concept. And, we're going to iron out more systems and processes because now we'll be in another market. So there'll be new challenges of weather, challenges of traffic, distance. It's also a more densely populated area compared to where I am. So, we'll see. I mean, we could get a flood of customers. So it could be totally different. But yeah, this is all part of the growth of the company.
Yeah. So real quick though, what made you take on this particular partner, and what does that look like right now?
Well, I can't be too vocal
Don't give
about it,
away
but
your secrets, Ben.
basically, no. But
We
so
can't give away the
basically, what
secret
had
sauce,
happened
but
is
let's give a
so
high level version of what happened.
so many people have been telling me that you don't want a partner. Partners will screw you. You're going to get into fights. You're going to get into this. You're going to have all these problems. And so then I put a post out actually into Arete,
Mhm.
and which because we were already talking about that earlier. And I said, listen, I don't want to hear about your bad business partner dealings.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I don't want to hear about anybody talking about that. What I want is people who have had successful business partners to talk to me. I want a business partner. That's where I see the company going because I want somebody with having skin in the game.
Yeah.
Let me know what you've done that has worked for you that's been successful. And I got on the phone with a bunch of people in there. And some people have like huge multi-million dollar companies doing, 10 million, 20 million, $100 million in business, like way more business than my little company's doing. Right. And they're getting on the phone and they're spending time with me. Right. Which is
Sure.
great. We're about half hour. And they told me, listen, it's like a marriage, right? You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have all that. The whole point is you guys need to be openly communicating all the time. You need to understand that you're going to have different perspective. And, they asked me why I wanted another business partner, like you were asking. And I said, well, I want to bring different perspective because right now it's me pushing the ship.
Mhm.
I'm always steering the ship going in that direction. And literally, if it's not my idea, then it's no idea.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it, if I have another business partner, now I have another set of ideas. I have someone who has a different set of skills. This is somebody who's actually very good with money. They know how to leverage money. They know how to get money for like, next to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I've known this person for years as well, right? And we actually, I will say this, and obviously I'm going into this. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a different perspective 5 years from now. But I will tell you this: how I feel good about going into this is I have way different opinions of things than he does, and most times, I don't want to bring up the controversial stuff. Let's just say politics. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say he believes in a certain political party and I believe in another political party. Right. Let's just say that's an easy comparison that most people can relate to. Instead of us saying you're an idiot for wanting to vote for that, which is sometimes you have conversations like that, probably with your friends or family or whoever.
Yeah.
Instead, what we're having is a constructive conversation of, so why would you vote for that party? Like, what is that thinking for wanting to vote for that party? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, because they would do this, they're pro business, they're that, they're going to bring, better healthcare, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Oh, okay. And then it turns into, well, why would you vote for them? Like, what do you see in that party?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, that's interesting. I didn't realize that party stood for that. And I didn't realize that party stood for that. And it's a constructive conversation instead of you're an idiot for wanting to vote for
Yeah.
that. Because I do have friends that are like that are literally like, you're so stupid for wanting to,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. That is not someone you want to be in business with, right? They may be a friend of
Absolutely.
yours that you get together and have coffee with, but you have to remember, you know, as a relationship, opposites attract. My wife and I are different on different levels, same as probably your wife and you are probably
Yeah.
different on certain levels as well, right? There's certain things that my wife, if she sees me spending money, she gets worried about the money. And I'm like, don't worry, it's okay. I've managed it out, right? But we have different things that stress each other out,
Yeah.
right? That's just all part of the game, right? It's part of the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's a good move, is because we can communicate on that level. We can have different opinions, and we can still find common ground.
Yeah.
Right?
You complement each other, right? You complement each
Yeah,
other.
that's the thing.
And in order to grow, you can't keep going. I mean, the idea is to not go along the same path, mind way of looking at things that you've been doing, right? You want to add something to it. So you need to have somebody who maybe thinks a little bit differently that can take it off into a different direction while you're still going down your current direction, right? And it's not necessarily dividing the company. it's adding another facet to the company, right? It's adding something else
Yeah.
that you don't have, and maybe you don't see in your vision, but this person does see it. This other guy, he sees something over here with the company, and he can take it there. And as far as like, people think a lot of times I'm losing something if I bring on a partner, right? I'm losing. I don't. I'm going to lose half the money. I can't lose half the money. Well, what if, let's say you make $100 at this company, right? And now you're making 50, right? Because you brought in a new partner. Well, what if the company now produces $10,000 because of the combination of the two of you, right? It's overall, it's a lot better to bring on a partner that complements you and that you work well with as well.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say to me that, well, I'm not bringing on a business partner because, and I'm like, oh, well, how are you going to have two or three different locations in, the United States, for instance, in different states? They're like, oh, it'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, but what if something goes wrong? Let's say your manager quits.
Yeah.
Are you going to fly there now to deal with that? Right? I'd rather have an owner that's got skin in the game.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong, you don't have to give up ownership, and that's a whole different conversation. You probably could give profit sharing or something like that to those managers. And maybe I could have done that with this person. But I felt that it made a lot more sense for that person to be having some skin in the game, be involved, and be equally as committed as I am to the success of the company in that new market.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is we want to iron out those systems and processes. We want to see those challenges that are going to happen in that new market that we're opening in, because we know that we're going to be able to easily iron out those systems and processes for growth in the future in other markets that we look at opening up into. Yeah. So, but that is our opinion. That's what I think will end up happening as well.
Yeah, and when you bring on a new partner, it doesn't have to be a partner in the application of the business. It can be a financial partner, right? You can bring on someone that's just like, hey, I just want to contribute. Let's go 50-50 on profits. No big deal, right? You can bring on, like in real estate, it's a one-off deal. So I don't have a partner, but like we have a subdivision issue coming up right now where we're looking to buy a property and subdivide it. It's basically a big, huge property out there in a growing area. We're going to subdivide the area, but I need a partner financially, right? So my overall business will not have this new partner operating in any way. But for this specific deal, we're 50-50, right? We're 50-50. I found the deal. They're going to fund the deal. We'll go 50-50 on profits. Super simple. But finding the right person, though, is a big deal too. You don't want to just jump out there, hit a Facebook post and say, hey, anybody want to partner with me? I got a cool deal. You got money? Let's do it. You got to vet those people too. You want to like you want a person that you have a real relationship with first. And that kind of goes back to with Arete as well. We're meeting people who are financially and intellectually capable of teaming up with us at any point, right? Assuming they are the right fit, they've already checked a lot of boxes. It's not your Uncle Jim that's like, oh, here's what you should be doing with your business. You don't want to team up with those guys. You want to find people like in Arete who are smart. Maybe they've done it. They've had a business that made it. Maybe they had a couple of businesses that didn't make it, but they have experience and the financial ability a lot of times, not all the time, but the financial ability to help out and actually grow your business and contribute as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man, because that's exactly what you do want, right? That's exactly what you want.
Yeah. So I mean, going back to Arete, we're not selling it again, I swear. But if you want to join, I'll have a link at the bottom. No, but seriously, it's a great group, and we've benefited a ton from that group. But and it goes back to everything like what we're talking about now with partnering. It's a great place to find real partners if once you found a good connection with somebody.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And you and I got to meet in Nashville and break bread, have a drink, and
we had some street tacos.
Walk the streets. Yeah, it was great.
We had some street tacos out in Nashville. Heard Ed Milet talk. Heard Andy Frisella talk. It's pretty sweet, hanging out and meeting all the other people. And it was interesting how it was 2,500 people at the event there, and
Yeah, I had
what,
no
maybe
idea there's going to be that many
500.
people. That was crazy, man. It was
Yeah, and maybe
crazy.
500 were actual Arete members. The other 2,000 were people that just wanted to check it out. They want to see what all the fuss is about, right? Because it is pretty popular and it's well known. It's a well known group, but to be around all those people that were in the group that were already running businesses, and then all these new hungry people that were like, I want to be part of this too. That was kind of cool. One interesting thing too, on the flight back, I sat next to a guy, and he goes, "I'm wearing one of these hats." I think it was this hat, probably actually the new hat I bought there. And he's like, "You're an Arte, huh?" And I'm like, "Weird. No one's ever asked me that before, but yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, me too." And he did not go to the conference. He just happened to live in Nashville, right? He just happened to be living in Nashville. The guy's a builder, right? He's a builder. We made a connection. We've since talked and actually are trying to talk about doing deals together. But we sat together and talked, and yeah, he's like, connection right there, boom, just like that, immediate connection. You're sitting next to somebody. He knows he's going to be a partner if I were to ever go down that route. I mean, we did talk. I can't remember what we were talking about. I can't remember what the follow up was, but it was something to do with building and growing both of our businesses. But yeah, to meet guys like that, man, it's pretty amazing. So, like I said, if you think this is for you,
You know what? And the big thing is you got to pay to play, right? So it ain't a free group.
let's
So
let's
if you
get
just
let's
come in
cover
there,
that too.
if you just come in there and hang out and don't do any posts, don't interact with the community,
Mhm.
don't go on a lot of the free calls that a lot of people put on where they try and network with other people and get to know other people in the group.
Yeah,
Why are you even going to think about joining?
sure,
Because it's
sure.
pointless. I mean, there's some people who join the group. They're not. Hey, you know what? I don't care. This might come across negative, but they only listen to Andy and Ed's calls, and that's it. But the
Mhm.
thing is you're going to get a lot more out of also networking with people within the group, because there's people at all different stages of development in their journey, right? I'm at the 2.5 year ladder of my business, and there's people I'll get on the phone with that are 20 years, 25 years
Yeah,
into building their business. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I was at, year 2 and da da da, I had all these challenges and I was thinking about quitting and I was thinking about growing and I was thinking about dumping another 50 grand into it. And I'm glad I dumped more money into it because look what I got now." Right.
yeah,
But that's the thing. You have those conversations with people and they reassure you that you're on the right journey, or they'll tell you, "Hey, listen, if you've poured that much money into it, it's pretty obvious that your business just isn't a good idea for a business, or it's not being executed properly." Right. So there's conversations that happen like that you can relate to all different people at different levels. But the thing is, if you're just talking to your friends that work for somebody and aren't actual entrepreneurs, then how are you getting that perspective? How are you getting that
sure.
feedback? So, I mean, I got to say, it's done a lot for me. I've been in a bunch of other networking groups where I didn't even get anything close to the same thing. But
Yeah,
I mean, the challenges of starting a business, everybody seems to think that being an entrepreneur is all rosy and peachy. And
yeah,
you know what? I'm a technician and I do all the installations, and this business wouldn't run without me. And then they go and they start their own business, and then they have no idea how to do bookkeeping, and they have no idea how to do sales, and they have no idea how to do marketing. They have no idea that, oh, I have to pay for business insurance for my vehicle so I can drive it around and go do jobs. And
yeah,
oh no, I can't, I don't have my own tools anymore because I don't work for that company. So now I got to go buy $10,000 in tools so I can do this. Oh, I didn't think this through.
yeah,
Shit, now I'm $50,000 in just to launch this company. Oh, where do I buy the product from? I don't have a relationship with any of those distributors. Okay. So but people don't think about that. They just think
yeah,
they just jump in and then they figure it all out. Right. And I can tell you, I had every connection. I had the distributors. I knew how to do sales. I knew how to do marketing. I learned how to build a website when I started my company,
yeah,
and I had to. Why? Because as an entrepreneur, you will get screwed. You will get, even when you're cautious, even when a good friend of yours recommends somebody they trust, you will get screwed.
Absolutely.
So if you think everything will be perfect as an entrepreneur, it won't be. And the thing is, you can either look at that and have a chip on your shoulder as, oh, everyone's out to screw me. You know what? I'm not going to hire any employees because only I can do the job
Yeah.
perfectly, only me. You can't run your business like that. You have to really make sure that you look at everything as a learning opportunity. What did I do wrong here that caused this situation to happen? Why did I get screwed in here, right?
Yeah.
What went wrong?
Yeah.
And I mean, the first 3 months of my company, I got screwed so many ways you couldn't believe it. And then about month 4, I let the chip off my shoulder and I just said, okay, I got to learn all this stuff. I got to do it all myself. I have to do all this. And now, because I've learned it all, instead of hiring out at the beginning, now when I've hired people now, I can hold them accountable because I know how to do their job.
Yeah. 4 months is pretty
Right.
fast though. Learning how to I guess learning making mistakes early on. I mean, 4 months is really early on. I think it took me maybe 4 years before I started like realizing, hey, dude, you don't know what you're doing. You know, you're gonna start needing to get some help. I mean, I'm 8 years in right now, and even now, I had my first. We just started working with a new bookkeeping team, and they're a real bookkeeping team. I mean, they run you from start to finish. They have every detail involved. Previous to that, man, it was me and my oldest daughter were the bookkeeping team, and we had no idea what we were talking about. A P&L looked, it was hideous. It looked terrible. We had no idea what we were doing. But it like you were saying though, when you jump into entrepreneurship, I would highly recommend people just jump in and get started. I would absolutely say that, because otherwise that's the biggest problem with most people is hesitation, right? They're not going to do it. They're going to say, well, what if this goes wrong? Well, but it is going to go wrong. I'll tell you that right now. It is
Oh
going to go
yeah.
wrong.
It's gonna
But
go wrong. Yeah.
take Ben's advice and figure shit out after 4 months versus 4 years for me, because it's it's a journey either way. But if you can make it, you can get rid of a lot of errors and get rid of a lot of mistakes if you maybe think about things and try to figure them out early, like Ben did.
Yeah. That's actually what Andy and Ed talk about is what they took to get there in 20 years. Their goal in the network is to save you 10, right? But they don't believe, and I agree. I don't believe in any of this stuff. All these people who do this get rich quick crap on Instagram and
Yeah.
LinkedIn and Facebook, and they got their, I could do coaching and turn your business into this and
Yeah.
buy my program for
They're 22 years old.
$500.
You're like, how are you going to do
Yeah,
that?
man, and
You've never done
you'll
anything.
be a millionaire. Ah,
Yeah.
whatever. They probably all there was probably owners of FTX or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That's a
Who
mess.
knows? A
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of people
I
got
do
sucked
see a
into
lot
that,
of
right?
coaches. You know how it is too in the podcasting space. You see everybody wants to be on your podcast that's a coach, right? Like, so what do you coach? Well, I coach people, I teach people how to get wealthy, how to be successful. Okay, well, what do you do? Well, I teach people how to become successful. Like, okay, so what did you do to justify your coaching? Well, I went to this coaching course and I learned how to teach people to be successful. I'm like, dude, so you haven't built anything. Well, no, I mean, I worked at this place and I worked at this place for a while. I'm like, come on, dude. I can't sell you to people. I can't put you on here and
Oh
and
man.
talk about how great you are when I don't believe in anything you're saying. And I've had guys that when I was early on, I would just be like, oh, he's successful. And you kind of it takes a while to get into that meat of the conversation where you're like, all right, dude, so man, you talk a lot. You talk a really good game, but what did you do? What do you do? And they're like, well, I wake up every day. I get up early. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I work out. And then I read and I do all these things and I meditate and I pray. And then day goes by and my wife gets off work and she comes home. I'm like, whoa, what happened in the middle there? Like, no, that's what I do all day. I meditate and I read and I like, oh, come on, man. I'm not putting you on
Oh
there,
man.
dude.
Somebody had that hilarious post they put in the Arete Syndicate of how to be a millionaire CEO or something like that, right? And it's wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, meditate, work out, go to work. What is it? Something like have dinner with the family, and the last one, dad owns company.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? It's like dad owns company. How
That
to
is
be
supporting
how to be
you.
a millionaire CEO?
It's a lot easier when your
Right?
father
It's like,
owns the company.
yeah, it's like I seen that post. And I was like, that's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
whoever made that. It's funny. I showed it to my family, and they're like, I don't get it. It's like, didn't you read it? Dad owns the company. Like the guy's like trying to teach people how to be CEOs, but he never earned it. Right? Don't
Never
get me
did
wrong. There
understand.
are people who do grow into the positions that did earn it,
Sure.
but honestly, a lot of times, I know I've seen a lot of companies I've even worked with over the years where somebody was born into it, and so they automatically get put into that role because it's a family based business, right? And it's not the same experience as what it was as the father was, right?
Yeah.
So it's a complete different spin, different move. They're trying to put their own label on it or whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
right? So, but
And
yeah,
you
I
know
mean,
it's
realistically, yeah.
no
Go ahead.
good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, you know, we all try to work hard and grow our businesses, and we're gonna have challenges with everything we do every single day. The question is are you do you want to learn from it, right? And I think that's the big difference is if you're not willing to deal with constant change every single day, don't be an entrepreneur because literally things are changing so rapidly, right? I mean, hey, why am I getting no leads this week? What's going on here? I better look at my ads. I better look at this. What's happening? Oh my God. Google made it so my ads no longer work.
Yeah.
Shoot, I should have caught on to this a week ago. Great. Oh, look, there was an error. Boom, boom, refresh, boom, we're live again. You know, oh, look at this. My website was down, right? Like, recently someone made a post saying, hey, what should I do with my business to grow it? And I went to go look at their website, and their website didn't work. And I'm going, well, first things first, you should probably get your website working. Right? Like,
Yeah.
you know but people, you know everything is a challenge on a constant basis. And I use this example. My wife doesn't like change at all.
Yeah.
She gets very anxious with change. And she goes, I don't think you know what it's like. And I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. Every hour of the day is things are changing.
Yeah.
Right now my bookkeeping software won't update, so I can't do any of my books for over 2 weeks now because there's an error in the software that I'm waiting for the vendor to fix so that I can update it. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of guessing what my profit is at and how much cash flow I have. I'm pretty good at knowing where the cash flow is, but it's not accurate. So that kind of affects me
Sure.
knowing where my business is.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that? I come to my desk and I have certain time every week to do books, make sure receipts and stuff and everything are all updated. But that time is now turned into other things. And as my business grows and has grown, time I used to have for other things has turned into me now making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And instead of me working on SEO and writing blogs and things like that for the website, I've now taken that and hire a company to now do that, to bring me to another level because they specialize in it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you have to notice as a company. And, a lot of people talk about this within our community, and Andy will talk about a lot on his podcast about, a lot of entrepreneurs want to hire 4 or 5 people to make themselves feel good. Right. And to have
I
these
have a big
big
team.
companies.
I
I have
just
a
want
big
to tell
team. I
people
got
that.
5 people.
Yeah.
I'm only one person. And I was going to hire people multiple times. A bunch of people did egg me on to like, it's time for you to hire somebody. And I almost did, but I didn't because I was like, I still have time every day to do stuff. Why would I hire somebody? So I know that I need to do a better job at getting busier and growing the company. That way I can hire somebody, because I don't want to hire somebody to then have to let them go after 3 months. That would suck, because you're investing that time training them, growing them, getting them to buy into your mission, vision, and values. And I don't want that happening to me, right?
Yeah. I think there's a time for everything too. In when you're running a business, and you don't really realize it until you start your first one, right? So there's a season of every business. If you don't, when you start, you have to be everything. You have to be everything, because if you're not everything, you can't teach everything, right? You can't teach your installer. You can't say, hey, here's what you do here. Here's what you do here. Here's how you move this over here, because you've never done it, right? So you have to be the guy who actually at least understands the basics of everything. Then you start to outsource things one by one by one, little pieces here and there. Because if you don't do it, if you start out and you try to bring in a team, it's me and 10 guys. I don't know how to paint houses, but these 10 guys do. So go paint, guys. If that's what I'm starting, a painting company. What if they screw up? What if they screw up? I'm not going to know. I won't know any different. So then the business is destined to fail. So you have to start by being that guy that's out there every day working, painting these houses, doing this day-to-day business. Then you can start outsourcing things. I mean, if you don't understand how much money comes into the company, if you've never looked at your numbers, and you outsource that to somebody else, what if you don't know if that's accurate or not? You have no idea what's going on. So I would recommend, especially when you first start, jump in, try to figure out, at least have a good understanding of everything initially, and then start to outsource things, then start to piece off little things for people to do in the business.
Yeah, no, it's great advice, right? Because we jump into things and we think that we're going to know everything really quickly, and we're just really not going to. I mean, everything is constantly learning. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I don't make mistakes. I still make mistakes, right? I'm still making mistakes every single day, and the big thing that I will say about anything you do as an entrepreneur is be consistent. So whatever you want to do, be consistent.
Yeah.
And I know, like, even you and I, we had these conversations about podcasts, right? And about getting guests, and we were talking about it. And I remember you said to me, you're like, oh man, it's hard to get 2 guests every week. Sometimes I don't get 2 guests and I'm scrambling. And I was like, dude, man, just do 1 guest. That's what I changed the 1 guest because it was less stress.
Yeah.
And it was easier to get 1 guest every single week than it was to get 2. Because I mean, for a while there, I think I was doing 2 or 3, and you were doing the same thing. We both were doing 2, 3
way too many videos.
And then you're like, holy smokes, all this time editing and doing this.
Yeah.
So, but I know that every week I can be consistent with 1 podcast interview. I know I could get that done every week.
Yeah.
But when I also look at YouTube, can I be consistent with being 1 YouTube video every week? And yeah, it seems like I can be consistent in being that. So think about that. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, whatever you're going to do, be consistent. So if you want to do handwritten thank you letters, that means that you need to give everybody a handwritten thank you letters. Yeah. You can't go, well, I gave Dave one because he spent over $1,000 and Bob spent, $500. So I ain't sending him one. You can't do that. Everybody has to get the thank you letter.
Yeah.
So whatever you do as an entrepreneur, my recommendation is be consistent on whatever you do. Right. Yeah, and I mean, keep it simple, stupid. The KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid, don't overthink things, and you're going to make mistakes. Yeah, I make mistakes. PJ probably makes mistakes.
Never.
But the thing is,
I never make
Are you learning from them?
Perfect human being.
That's what it's all about. Are you learning from them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, it's been fun, man. This has been good. I know you got to take off, pick up the kids. Ben's a busy guy, man. He's out there installing dash cams, making time to talk to me, and then picking up kids. He's got to read to them. He's got to feed him dinner tonight. He's got a lot of work to do. So, Ben, here's the question though, and we're gonna elaborate on this a little bit. So, when my very first podcast, number 1, the guest was Ben Delgrosso. Ben Delgrosso was the very first guest I've ever had. We came up with a question. He's like, you know what you need? You need like a question to ask at the end of every podcast. And I was like, really? All right, man. What would it be? And he's like, what about this? Like, if you could buy land anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I'm like, that's a great question. So for 70 episodes, I have asked that question at the end of every podcast. So Ben, I'm going to push it back on you. If you could buy land, Ben, anywhere in the world, I'm sure you already answered the question in the first episode, but we're gonna maybe things have changed. Where would it be and why?
I actually was thinking about, I'm like, oh man, I should have reviewed that episode because I don't remember what I told him last time. But I'm gonna give an answer that I don't think I gave last time. I think originally, if I wanted to buy land anywhere in the world, I think it would be Niagara Falls.
Okay.
That's where I think I would buy. You know what? We love the falls. It's so beautiful over there. That's where I think I would buy.
Okay.
It's close to the States too. You're right by the border. You can
You're on the
hop
good side though.
across.
Isn't it like really nice on the Canadian side?
Yeah, but obviously buy on the Canadian side. I don't have American citizenship at all, right? So definitely that's what I would do for sure.
All right. Niagara Falls it is. Right on, guys. Ben, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's
And for
back
all
and
your
forth
follow
about all we're doing is talking about how to be an entrepreneur and joining a networking group and how to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys,
Awesome, man.
thank you so much. Till next time, I'll see you on LandLife.